Hello everyone, this is VNV with yet another guide, only this time it's not gonna be a short guide, it's gonna be more of a detailed guide. The contents of this video will have AoE rotation, single target rotation, stats, Mythic Plus embellishments, and the builds that we use for each dungeon. In regards to the opener, it can be found on the video linked right now on the screen, which is Short Guide Episode 2. Now, let us get started with the AoE rotation first, and where I will explain where we should use what is the priority, and what I do personally, because those two things differ quite a bit. On AoE rotation, we always start with Remorseless Winter, and then we press the Howling Blast / Pillar of Frost macro, which will be on the description below, and then we drop Death and Decay as the first global. After that, we press Obliterate and we weave in either Glacial Advance or Rime Proc. Now on AoE, there are two playstyles you can use. One is using Rime Proc on 7 targets and below that, because it does more damage. By doing that, you only have 30% chance of regaining a rune back. What I personally do is, I use Glacial Advance. It does less damage on 7 targets, but it has 30% increased chances of refunding a rune due to runic empowerment. And now, onto the single target rotation and priorities. We always Remorseless Winter on cooldown. We also always use Pillar of Frost / Frost Strike macro on cooldown, and then we weave in Obliterate and Frost Strike. After gaining 3 stacks of Unleashed Frenzy with your Frost Strike, then Rime Proc becomes the highest priority after a Killing Machine Obliterate. When outside of Pillar of Frost window, you will be using Frost Strike to make sure you don't drop below 3 runes. And now, onto the talent builds. There are only really 2 builds that you will be playing in High M+. One is the offensive build, and the other one is the defensive build. What we usually change between those 2 builds is the general tree, rather than the frost specific one. For our offensive build, we pretty much take everything we can for damage, and the only defensives we have is Permafrost, Improved Death Strike, and Blood Draw. For the defensive build, however, we lose 2 points from Blood Draw and 1 point from Unholy Bond, and those points go to Insidious Chill and then 2 stacks of Will of the Necropolis that pretty much makes us the tankiest DPS in M+. For Neltharion Slayer, Neltharus and Halls of Infusion on the defensive build, we lose the point that we have in Unholy Bond for AMZ. Mythic Plus embellishments. Our options for Mythic Plus embellishments are only 3. We have Elemental Lariat, which will be used at all times, and then we have the Haste Legs and the Versatility Wrists. When fully socketed, Elemental Lariat becomes our best item. Based on your gems, it has a chance every time you use an ability to proc that stat that you have gemmed in your gear. Next up is the Haste Legs. Every time you attack a new enemy, you gain a bunch of haste that helps you stack up your Remorseless Winter easier and also helps you to extend it to the next cycle. And lastly, the Versatility Wrists. We only use those for defensive purposes. Mythic Plus stats. The general idea of stats is that haste is the best stat, then it's mastery, crit, and then lastly versatility. What I personally suggest is that you get 25% haste and then you sim your character. The stats I recommend are on the screen right now, and then you can see also the stats that I have in game and I use in every single M+, because they work for me and they maybe work for you, but as I said previously, you should always sim yourself. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this guide, and if there's any feedback, positive or negative, please leave it in the comment section down below.